It's late night radio too. Now, art has been showing in the West End of London for 6 years now, and it's renowned for its freshness because every few weeks there's a cast change. And as of Monday the 14th of October, the 27th cast took to the stage at the Whitehall Theatre, namely Mark Gatiss, Steve Pemberton and Reece Shearsmith. They are known collectively as the League of Gentlemen, and they join us in the studio tonight to talk about the very last cast change in this 6-year run of Yasmina Razor's story of friendship that is put to the test, and all in the name of art. Welcome, gentlemen.
Good evening.
Hello. Hello.
You've just come off stage. How was it tonight?
Great.
Good,
yeah,
very
good. Very good response. You know, it's the play that really gets people going, and we just feel like, you know, we're very lucky to have such a good script, really.
Well, it's going to be completely different to the first time you actually hit the West End stage, because you were performing in something you'd written.
Yeah.
Now you're performing in something that somebody else has written. Is that as comfortable?
It's very different, but I think what we found so far, you can almost sense there are some people who've only come to see us. Obviously, there's a big mixed audience because the play has such a reputation, lots of tourists. But I think you can almost detect that people are won over by the material. They may be expecting one thing and they certainly get another, and by the end they're really going with the actual impetus of the play rather than just the fact that we're novelty casting.
There was a performance the other night where the curtain sort of goes up and I'm sitting on stage to begin, and I heard someone go, "Pauline!" And I was thinking, oh no, you know, that's the fear, is that people would expect it to see, you know, what we do on television somehow infused into this play, and of course we haven't done that. We've just acted in the play, haven't
Absolutely, yeah. It was a concern that somehow people might think, bizarrely, that we would do the play in our characters.
Well, some quite reasonable people have actually asked that, which is extraordinary, as if we're going to sort of pervert this play just to our own advantage.
But as Mark says, by the end you can tell, by the time you're doing your final curtain call and everything, that people have really enjoyed it. So.
But it is a strange thing to do someone else's lines finally, because we all are so used to writing and performing our thing and it's our vision. Suddenly to have characters that are not ours, that's where we've had a director for the first time in many years properly directing us as actors, and that's a really unusual thing for we three. We never get told what to do, really.
No, we used to sing the three of you together, and I just wondered whether you chose the parts you played, or did they absolutely know who was going to play what?
No, it was up to us, but we sort of fell into there was a kind of general sense people guessed correctly, and I was like, oh, all right. Why? And we did talk for a while about sort of swapping around to confound people's expectations, but it just sort of happened naturally, really.
I thought perhaps Mark would be Mark, but you've complicated matters slightly.
Yeah, that was the only concession to complication.
It would help, wouldn't it, to change that? But no, I think they had the same ideas that we had. But to be honest, we could have done it anyway. We did feel that the parts were best suited the way we've done them, but we could have changed them.
Well, you're in it for 3 months and we're only a week down the line. I was just thinking that maybe you might have a bit of fun and change round occasionally. Wouldn't that be too much?
Enough of an effort to get through it every night.
I think perhaps you should tell us the parts you play and why you picked those particular parts. That would be good.
Well, I play Serge, who's bought the offending white painting. I'm a dermatologist. I've done very well for myself. What the others can't bear, certainly Mark can't bear, is I've splashed out this enormous amount of money, about £20,000, on a totally white painting. It offends his sensibilities somehow, and I'm sort of trying to keep the end up for art's sake, really, in the face of what I see as his sort of philistinism.
But you are more interested in art than the other two.
Yeah.
But as yourself, I mean.
Oh, me, yes.
But you wouldn't like the white painting, would you?
No, that's the. I mean,
yourself.
I love painting. I do paint, and but I'm actually more like his character.
Right.
I'm a patron decorator like Hitler. I would not have that painting in my house.
Okay.
It's strange though, because by the end I think it is a beautiful thing. That's what's brilliant about the play.
So actually, you should have been Serge.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Mark and I should have been Ivan.
Oh no.
We are discovering we've done it wrong.
Oh no.
Anyway, I unfortunately play Ivan. I'm the middle one who is neither hates or loves the painting, but can just see both sides, and is the friend of the pair of them. There's 3 friends, and we are equally kind of successful in the worlds that we inhabit. But I kind of try to keep the peace, and wrongly probably, in a kind of a boring way, say yes to both the pair of them, and that causes conflict because I shouldn't just be kind of middling. I should either
take
stand
sides.
I don't. Yeah, I don't. I kind of try and keep it all smooth, and that causes its own problems. And I don't know whether I do that in real life. I probably don't do that in real life. I'm probably more extreme than Ivan and angst-ridden. I mean, the character often is described as kind of the scatty middle one, obviously comedic one of the three. And I think that we haven't. I haven't really done it like that. I'm trying to defend myself. It's not funny, but not obviously playing it for kind of the bumbling middle one. It's just I think we're all quite equal in it, and I think that's good. I think that's true to the play. I think.
Okay.
So that's my character.
And you play Mark.
I play Mark. Yes, Mark is an engineer, and he's very good friends with Serge and with Ivan, and he hates the painting, and. It turns out that he's always thought of himself as being a sort of an opinion former, on someone who, Serge would come to and say, what do you think about this? And Serge would get his opinions from Mark. And so the idea that Serge has gone out and bought his own painting is really annoying. And the fact that it's just this completely white canvas, he just can't see it. It's very old-fashioned. And when I read it, I sort of didn't like the character. I thought, oh God, he's a bit pompous and a bit sort of arrogant. But the way we've been directed to do it is to see every character's point of view and play the truth of that, because you do get exasperated about the most ridiculous things. And one of the nice things that we've been able to work on, because we are three friends and have been for 15 years, as the friends in the play have been, is that even when they're falling out and at their most extreme and daggers drawn, they can still have a laugh. And so the play needn't become just one long protracted argument, because that would be very boring. So what we've tried to do is pick out moments of humour. Even amidst the hugest argument, someone will say something, all three of us laugh. And that's been really nice to work on.
Yeah, it's a very real thing, I think, in friendship, that in a proper friendship, a long, stable friendship, that you can do that. You can say the most horrible thing, and then a minute later you can be laughing again together, and it wasn't meant.
You can certainly imagine, like, at the end of a relationship, even if it's all over and that's it, and you're sort of even like sorting out who's getting what and things like that, you would have a shared remembrance of something which would still bring you back together, and that's the sort of thing we've been trying to find in it.
When there's a cast change in art, I travel up and down on the escalators all the time. I'm just for the sheer hell of it, not because I'm getting on the ship. But there are always those wonderful pictures, aren't there? And yours has got a lot of colour in it, and a cow. One of these cows
that's
kind of been placed around. Was that anything to do with you?
Well, I had an idea that we should do a sort of Damien Hirst thing and have us cut in half preserved in tanks, which I thought was a bit ghoulish, even for us. But they kind of then it went that way of having one of those cows. And the reason we got chainsaws and everything, the implication is we're going to cut it in half and do a sort of Damien Hirst on it.
I think
I
it
don't
just
know
happens,
what do you
isn't
think
it?
it is now?
The cows are around at the moment, and it's an art type.
And it's the only
thing.
White one. See, it's an artifact in itself.
So just sacred cow, maybe.
But because it's a white cow on a white background in the poster, most people don't see it.
I saw it.
You saw it, okay. Oh, that's good.
It's the blood splattered everywhere, or the red paint, really. I think it does it for you.
Well, it's certainly different, when we went to David Pugh's office, he's the producer, the other day, and he's got all the different posters on his wall. And we were saying to him, you should put a book out, because they are really...
Actually, they're very clever, aren't they?
Very clever.
Really nice.
Well, we actually have two. We're the first cast to have two. It's double-sided, although no one puts the other one up. The other side is a Gilbert and George pastiche, which is no one gets, so it's probably not the reason it's not up, but it's quite nice, that one. It's quite soft.
Like stained glass.
Stay with us, we'll talk more after this. The League of Gentlemen, that's Mark Gatiss, Steve Pemberton and Reece Shearsmith are my guests on the show tonight, and they're currently performing Art at the Whitehall Theatre in London, which we'll come back to in a moment. But I think we need to mention Jeremy Dyson. I've never seen him, I'm not sure if he exists. And obviously there are only 3 parts, aren't there, in Art,
yes.
So it's understandable that he's not there. But we haven't seen him in the League of Gentlemen either, have we? Or have we?
Glimpsed him very briefly.
He crops up, yeah. You'd have to know what he looked like in order to spot him. A bit like Where's Willie?
It's really this week.
The children's books. But no, he does crop up. But he was in the original lineup before we were called the League of Gentlemen. He did do some sketches, and in fact he was the first person to play Bernice, the vicar who Reece now plays. But because he never trained as an actor, I think he just sort of didn't feel confident enough to do that.
And he likes focusing on the writing.
Absolutely. Yeah.
What does he think of you in this? Has he seen you yet?
Yes, he has, yes. Yeah, he thought he was very good. He was very proud. He hadn't ever seen it, so it was great that he said he was holding out for us three to do it.
Oh.
That's what everyone's been saying.
Yeah.
Lazy people.
But no, he thought it was great.
Good. And I think I'm right in saying that you were commissioned for the BBC Radio 4 series after being spotted at the Edinburgh Fringe, and that the radio show won a Silver Sony Award, which
That's right.
That's fantastic,
It
isn't
did,
it?
yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah, we
Seems
were
like a long time ago.
The Gold Award went to Jam, the Chris Morris series on Radio 1, which we didn't mind losing to because we think he's a genius.
It's pretty cool too, isn't
And
it?
you also remember that the bronze went to Hold My Plums Christmas Special.
That's right,
BBC
yeah.
Radio Bristol.
It was regional. It was local humour for local people.
And then we get the resulting television series, and I'll just have to take a deep breath here, which won the Golden Rose of Montreux, the RTS Award for Best Entertainment, a BAFTA for Best Comedy, and in terms of other awards as well, there was the Little Matter of the Perrier Award for the Edinburgh Fringe in '97.
Yeah.
Now, there are four of you, so do you have these awards on your mantelpiece in a rota basis? How does it work?
Yeah, no, we don't.
We actually should work out a version of the award story now, because there's a shortened version of them all. The Golden Rose was stolen by the BBC. It's still there. We got
It
one.
wasn't stolen.
We got stolen.
They said, can we have it in a tank for a while and look at it?
it's
And then we never got it back.
Yeah. We got one BAFTA each. We got one of those at home. The RTS is with our agent. The Perrier is to. I think that's it.
I think the only awards we've got, the only awards I've got at home are when you're asked to give an award and the person hasn't turned up.
Oh, yeah.
So we've got like Gwyneth Paltrow's Best Actress Award,
Yeah, I've got
and
that.
I've got Marilyn Manson's award for Best Video.
She didn't want the Empire Award.
So that's the only way we get awards is by giving them out and then people not collecting them. Otherwise, because there's four of us, we give them to our agent and they sort of look after
They've
them.
got a display cabinet with a lot of awards in, so it's
Just to save them
quite
from the
nice.
BBC stealing them.
Stealing them back.
Now, a moment ago, you were saying that in art, the relationship is 15 years, sort of off stage and on stage for these characters. And you were saying that it's okay to argue and it works throwing things sort of about between you. Is that how the writing for the League of Gentlemen works? Are there a few arguments? Do you kind of pitch in here and there, or...?
It's not as apocalyptic as art, but
Right.
we're a bit more.
Not yet.
Not yet.
No
anyway.
chainsaws?
Yeah. No, it's we kind of split the writing into two teams. Steve and I write together, and Mark and Jeremy tend to write together. And then the hardest part really is coming together to knit it into one whole. And this third series we've just done, we tried more to have an eye on the entire thing this time round, because our last two series have kind of been made up of sketches that we've all written individually.
This is slightly different, isn't it?
Yeah, so we just thought, and it's always felt slightly unsatisfying as writers to have not really ever had that bigger picture entirely. So we just thought, let's try and think of, and this is why we ended up with the idea of all six having the same ending and arriving at the same point, so that
Right.
I are completely knitted together. And that's hopefully quite interesting for people to watch.
Also, after three series, we move on. There are elements in the second series where, if you watch it now, there are storylines developing over a couple of episodes, or even one episode. There's a little story about 4 visits to, and so it's a natural progression then to do a 20-minute story around 1 or 2 characters and make it less sketchy, and it's more mature, I think.
Right. The show's really funny and very dark too. Now, I've read that you claim British horror films are a big influence on your work. Are we talking Hammer horror here?
Yeah, I think
All
in
kinds, yeah.
part, all kinds of horror films from 30s, sort of 50s, 70s. I think in this third series, what we've tried to do is, because we've done so many horror film pastiches up to this point, and there's a danger of being seen as being, going into parody and doing parodic humour, which isn't our thing really. And so we've pulled back a little bit from that and allowed the characters just to be in the real world with real problems. But yeah, certainly the idea of those sort of the horror films which really shock you and take things in an unexpected direction, that's been a big influence, and we always try to stay one step ahead of the audience.
At this stage in the proceedings, I think I should bring in Papa Lazarou.
Lazarou.
Why is he outside?
Yeah,
Racing?
the real.
How
Here he comes.
scary.
He's going to steal you.
How scary is that man? We've had so many emails because we've said that you're coming on the show, and we had one from Hannah Chase in Dartmouth who said that is her favourite character. Are we likely to see more of him in the future?
Well, you must gaze into your crystal ball.
Yes, yeah. Well, we were very, we talked long and hard about how we could or couldn't bring him back. And we just in the end thought that,
You're gonna let him go?
yeah, one of the
For
best.
now,
but
not
I mean,
forever.
Who knows? Not forever.
He's roaming the country
There's more.
somewhere.
Yeah, he's in the
Okay.
countryside, wandering around looking for more wives.
You never know when he's going to crop up.
And bizarrely, we have one from Dave, who I understand is the real Dave at Cardiff,
Yeah.
who wanted me to ask you, what is the special stuff that Hilary Briss the butcher sells to the locals at Royston?
Well, we can't tell you that because otherwise it would all be blown.
Yes.
You'd have to kill me, wouldn't you?
Yes, we could, but then you
Read the book.
Okay.
Read Seneca.
There are clues in it.
Yeah, there are.
There are
yeah.
clues,
Yeah.
yeah.
If you read we've got a book called, I'm not plugging it here, well I am, but a local book for local people. If you read that, there are clues within it as to what the special stuff actually is, and no one's cracked it yet. But
It's like that thing where you could go and dig up the golden hair. Do you remember
Yeah,
that? What's that
yeah,
called?
yeah.
Masquerade.
I don't know that one. That's kind of fallen a bit flat on
Didn't
me.
you have to find eggs around the countryside?
No, there was a bloke called Kit Williams. He made this beautiful jewelled hair out of solid gold and buried it somewhere. And he did this fantastic book of paintings with clues.
Oh, yes.
And everyone got to about page 16 and couldn't get any further.
Did anybody find
They
it?
did in the end, and I think someone found it by accident, which is terrible.
No.
We should do something like that.
A development.
Bit of an anticlimax, really.
Yeah.
And Alec Duffy from Glasgow says, why was the town called Spent for the radio series and changed to Royston Vasey for television?
We came up with we had a big list of a short list of potential northern town names, and Spent is quite authentic sounding. There's a lot of places, called Knackered and Dry, and things like that. Various places in the north, and then we just got a bit fed up with it, really. And Royston Vasey had been on the list. It's Chubby Brown's real name. It was like sort of joke within a joke. So
Yeah, I think we thought Spent was a bit too kind of on the nose, telling you what the intention behind that kind of tired.
it's
horrible
also
sound
that
would
simple thing of transition to TV. You sort of want to make a fresh start, and we've made a lot of our mistakes on the radio. I like to think, and like today, and it was just sort of a way of underlining that and saying, well, this is slightly different to everything.
Same material, but
A different
town name.
The town next door.
Let's take you back to the theatre now. You're in art until it closes in January. Is it very nice to be sort of, 27th cast and with all those names? Is it really nice to be part of that?
Absolutely, yeah. It's such an honour. I mean, I remember seeing the second cast with Mark Williams, David Haig and Anton Lesser, and I thought, I'd love that play. I'd love to do that one day. And that was 1997, 8, was it? Something like that. I just thought we'd never be asked.
But to begin with, it was
great.
quite daunting, wasn't it? Because we were sort of hearing all these other casts, and they did that line brilliantly, and they did that scene beautifully, and, they did this. And it puts the pressure on you before you've actually done the play. Now we've done it, and we've got the first sort of week or so under our belts. We're a bit more confident that it's our interpretation of art, and hopefully it'll rank alongside the others.
And we're younger than a lot of the cast. I mean, they have in the last few casts had younger people, and that's a different spin on it, I think.
And also, we are three friends the first time this has happened. I mean, I think previous casts, a couple of people, like the original,
Might have known
they
each
have
other,
known
but
each
not.
other well, but it's a different sort of dynamic, if I dare use that word. We won't be friends by the time we finish. But
And just finally, out of curiosity, he is the producer. Have you met Sean Connery yet?
we got some flowers from him opening night, and I was going, who's this Sean? Yeah, Sean.
Sean,
The very idea that he said that.
we're hoping that the run coincides with one of his tax breaks, when he can come to the UK, and that's the only way we'll meet him. I
What the
think.
hell have you done to my play?
But interestingly, he is filming The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen
yes.
in Prague
Oh.
at the moment, is he? So
Floods permitting.
there is a link there.
The other link is, of course, that he was born in Edinburgh, so that kind of has a connection for you as well, because that's when things began to take off for you at the Fringe. So I guess geographically, it's a lucky charm, and long may your luck continue.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Mark Gatiss, Steve Pemberton and Reece Shearsmith, thanks so much for coming in for a chat, and they're in art at the Whitehall Theatre in London until January.